So today we are discussing our next chapter, which is very, very critical in our exam, which is, I think, chapter 3, which is investment decision. We are going to discuss one of the critical chapter in in managerial finance, which is investment decision. And in this chapter, we are going to discuss the following important parts. Our first part we are going to look at is the time value of money, time value of money. Then in number 2, we shall look at the investment process, investment process. Number 3, we shall look at the investment appraisal, investment appraisal. Number 4, we are going to look at allowing for inflation, allowing for inflation and taxation in investment appraisal. Number 5, we shall look at allowing for risks, allowing for risks and the uncertainties in the investment appraisal. Then number 6, we shall look at capital rationing. Number 7, we shall look at replacement decision. We shall look at lease or buy in investment decision. Then in number 8, we shall look at replacement decision. Then number 9, we shall look at adjusted present value, which abbreviate as APV. So those are the key subtopics that we are going to discuss in this chapter: the time value of money, the investment process, that is in introduction to capital investments. Then we look at investment appraisal, where we're going to look at the different investment appraisal techniques. Then we look at how do we allow for inflation and taxation in our investment appraisal. Then we look at how to allow risks and uncertainties in the investment appraisal. Then we shall look at capital rationing. How do we make investment decision under capital rationing? Then we shall look at lease or buy. How do we make those lease or buy in investment? Then we shall look at replacement decision. And the last part we shall discuss will be adjusted present value. So these are the key areas. So once we master this, then it means you can be able to pass a question on investment decision. So if you look at our first part, I want to introduce, that is the time value of money, time value of money. We know that we make our investment, or we always invest at the beginning and we expect the return at the end of the year. But we always face the timing or the time difference when you invest and when you expect your returns. So to be able to compare cash flows in different periods, then you need the concept of time value of money. So time value of money is a tool that we use to evaluate an investment. It is a tool which we use to evaluate an investment. And this concept of time value of money, it works on the principle that the value of dollar today, is more than $2 tomorrow or in the future. Or in the future. So that is the principle that divides, that we look at, that the value of the dollar today is better than $2 tomorrow. Why do you think? The reason is there is a time difference and there is uncertainties. You don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. So because you don't know what is going to happen today, it's better to appreciate what you have today. This also has the same saying that a bird in hand is better than two birds in the bush. What you have today is better than what you expect to get tomorrow. That's the real meaning of this concept of the time value of money. Because the future is uncertain. You don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. So you cannot make programs of what you don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. Now, to take you briefly, the perspectives or the tools, sometimes we say perspectives of time value of money. Number one is what we call the future value. The future So the future value is the amount by which the present value will grow when compounded with the interest rate R after period n. That is the money. If I invest my money today, that is the present value. If I invest my money today, how much money will I have after period n if this money has been compounded with a given interest rate? And that is going to be your present, the future value. How do we get the future value? To get the future value, that's the abbreviation we make. To get the future value, we will equal to the present value into 1 plus r power n, where PV is the present value, R is the interest rate, and N is the period. Then you can get your present value. We can give a simple example. Assume a simple example to make this. Assume you invest 1 million today into a bank account, that offers an interest rate R, an interest rate of 12%. How much money will you have after 5 years? So in this question, we have the present value. If you look at it, we have the present value, which is 1 million. We have the future value, which we don't know, the one we want. We have our N, which is 5 years. And we have R, which is 12%. So how do we get the future value? We can apply our formula we have talked about, that the future value will be equal to present value into 1 plus R power n. So we can substitute what we have. So in this case, it means our future value will be equal to 1 million into 1 plus 0.12, then power 5. Then I can get my future value. So I can say my future value will be equal to 1 million times 1.12 power 5. What is it? So this is going to be my future. If I invest this money into a bank account that gives me an interest rate of 12% per year, then after 5 years, I will have this amount. That is how my 1 million will grow after 5 years. Then another tool is what we call the present value. which we abbreviate as PV. We have already abbreviated this. The present value is value of future investment or cash flow today when discounted with the interest or discount rate, with a discount rate R after period N. So it's the sum of the money that you expect to receive today, or the money you expect to receive today, if that money has been discounted with the present or with a given discount rate R. So when we are determining mathematically, when we are determining the present value, there are different ways. You can have the future value divided by 1 plus R power N. Or it can be the same as my future value into 1 plus R power minus N. It's almost the same as getting this, or when you use this, you get the same figure when you are calculating the present value. So when you look at these two definitions, when it comes to future value, you are compounding. When it comes to present value, we are discounting. We are coming backwards. We are from the future, then coming backwards. That is the present value. So we can look at the same example. Assume you expect to receive 1,762,342 from an investment 5 years from now. What is the present value of the cash flow if discounted with interest rate 12%? So it is the similar example I've done. What we have only changed, now we have the future value, which is 1,762,342. That's my future value. Then I have a present value. I don't know it. I don't know the present value, but I have N, which is 5, and I have R, which is 12%. So I can substitute in my formula we have talked about there. So my present value will be equal to 1762,342 divided by 1 plus 0.12. Then I get power 5. Then we can get that. I don't know if my thing can make it, which is 1762,342 divided by 1.12 power 5. So that is the same as 1 million as we had it in the previous question. I don't know if you have a question on this part. So if you have a question, you can raise the hand or you can put the question in the chat box. Someone was saying to set the Excel up. I didn't know. Now I want us to, these ones are not very common, just to give us the background. Then I want to look at a present value, present, and the future value of multiple cash flows. Present value or future value of multiple cash flows. When it comes to present value or future value of multiple cash flows, is that we expect different cash flows at the end of each year. In this previous example, we were having a single amount, what we call a lump sum amount. You are having a single amount and you are waiting it to grow. But in investment, you can be investing a different amount, or you can be expecting to receive different amounts in different years. Then we call those ones multiple cash flows. So if you're having the future value of multiple cash flows, So the future value of multiple cash flows is the value, or is the summation of the future value of each cash flow compounded with the interest rate R in period N. You are compounding, or you are getting the future value of each year, and then you add them together and you get the total of your future cash. So if you have future cash flows, the future value will be equal to the cash flow in year one, cash flow in year one into 1 plus R power n minus 1 plus cash flows in year 2 into 1 plus R into of power n minus 2 plus cash flows in year n into 1 plus R power n minus n. That is how you are going to get the future value of multiple cash flows. We can look at a simple example. A simple example, assume that you invest 1 million in year 1, 2 million in year 2, and 2.5 million in year 3. Into a bank account, that offers an interest rate of 10%. How much money will you have after year 5? So these are what we call different cash or multiple cash flows. For example, you have now 1 million in year 2, 2 million in year 3, 2.5 in different years. So these cash flows are different, and therefore we call them multiple cash flows or different cash flows in different years. So since we have all the variables, so we can now put in our future value will be equal to my 1 million in year 1 into 1 plus 0.1 power 5 minus 1 plus cash flows in year 2, which is 2 million, into 1 plus 0.1 power 5 minus 2. Then the cash flows in year 3 will be 2.5 into 1 plus 0.1 power 5 minus 3. Then from there, I can get, so you can get these cash flows in different years. So for example, if you look at year 1, it will be equal sign times 1.1 power 4. I get that. Year 2, I can still have that in year 2. It will be 1, so it is 2 million. 2 million times, I open my bracket, 1.1 power 5 minus 2, it is 3. I have that. Year 2, year 3 is 2.5 into, times 1.1, 5 minus 3, it is 2. So power 2. Then I can add here to get my total future value. This will be my total future value in the different years. So if we go to present value of multiple cash flows. So here we expect to receive or to invest different cash flows in different years. Different cash flows in different years. So if you are getting the present value of multiple cash flows, it's going to be the cash flows in year 1 divided by the same 1 plus R power 1 plus cash flows in year 2 divided by 1 plus R power 2 plus up to cash flows in year N divided by 1 plus R power N. Then I can get my cash flows in those different years. Now once I get my cash flows in different years, I add them, or I get the total, then I get the present value of multiple cash flows. So you can look at a simple example. A simple example to mark it will be, assume that you expect to receive the following amounts. Year 1, 1.5. Year 2, 2.3. And year 4, I'm expecting 3 million, or year 3. This is year 3. I'm expecting to receive 3 million. If the discount rate is 10%, what is the present value of of the cash flows. And to show you, because this is the one we are going to be using almost in all our issues. So when I have such, when I'm dealing with present value, I will have year 1, year 2, year 3. This is my period. I'm showing you because this is how we are going to be dealing with this. How we are going to be dealing with this. This is my cash flow. These are my cash flows. I call this one the discounting factor. And I call this one my present value. Please mark this one. This is the one we are going to be using in most of our discussion. This is the format we are going to be using. How do I get the discount? Remember, our formula is 1 over 1 plus R, meaning our discounting factor, which in this case is 10%. How do I get it? I will get 1 divided by 1 plus R power n. Then I can get my discounting factor. Now, once I get my discount factor, I have the cash flows here. My cash flow in year 1, it is 1.5. This is the method we are going to be using in our discussion. This is 2.3. 2.3, and this is 3. Now I can get my discounting factor here, which is 1 divided by 1 plus 0.1 power 1. Then I get this. Then I can scroll to get for the other periods. So what to do? I get my discounting factor times the cash flow. So I will get my discounting factor here times my cash flow here. Then I can add to get my present value. This is my total present value. Total present value, which is this. So that is how, and this is the format we are going to be looking at in most of our discussion. It's going to be like this. So please try to get this one. I don't know if you have a question. I'm seeing some messages in the chat room. Maybe let me read them. Oh, these are not mine. I'm seeing Damascene. They are not my message. Please, if you have a question, you can raise a hand. If you have a question, you can raise a hand or you can put it in the chat room. Then I can read the message and get to know what you want to get. So those are the present value of multiple cash flows. Now, I also want to look at what we call level or what we call constant, or sometimes we call constant cash flows. Level or constant cash flows. Level or constant cash flows. When the cash flows are constant, when the cash flows are constant, then we call it, or then it is an annuity. If the cash flows are constant, then it is an annuity. So what is annuity? By definition, we say annuity annuity, those are constant cash flows, expected at the end, invested or expected. I think I should put that one, invested or expected at the end or at the beginning, or beginning of each period. Constant cash flows that are expected at the end or expected at the beginning of each period. I hope it is okay. The constant cash flows at the end or at the beginning of each period. That's what we call annuity. Now, annuities can be classified into two. Annuities can be classified into two. That is ordinary annuity and annuity due. We are saying annuities are classified into two. We have the ordinary annuity and we have the annuity due. What is the difference between these two? Ordinary annuity it is when the cash flows occur at the end of the period. If the cash flows occur at the end of the period, then we call it ordinary annuity. On the other hand, annuity due it is when the cash flows occur at the end of the period. At the beginning of the period, not at the end, at the beginning, of the period. If the cash flows occur at the beginning of the period, then we call that one annuity due. If the cash flows occur at the end, then we call it an ordinary annuity. So how do we compute? Let's first look at the present value. Present value of annuity, of ordinary annuity. The present value of ordinary annuity. So the present value of ordinary annuity, as we said, we expect to pay or to receive a constant amount at the end of each period. You expect to pay or you expect to receive a constant amount at the end of each period. So how do you get the present value of ordinary annuity? The present value of ordinary annuity to be the constant you are expecting into 1 minus 1 plus r power minus n power minus n. Then what I get here, I'm going to divide by r. What you get from this bracket, you divide by r. Then you can get the present value of ordinary annuity. So let's say simple example. A simple example. Assume you expect to pay 5 million. You expect to pay 5 million at the end of each year for a period of 5 years. If the discount rate is 10%, determine the present value of the cash flow of the project. Determine the present value of the project. So if you look at this is automatically an annuity because you're expecting a constant amount at the end of each year. So our constant payment, which we abbreviate as PMT, to mean the constant payment is 5 million. Our R is 10%. And our N is 5 years. So now I can determine my present value of annuity, which we say we are going to get the constant, which is 5 million into 1 minus 1 plus 0.1 power minus 5 . So what I get, I divide by 0.1. So my present value, if we use your calculator, will be how much? Times 3.791. You get 18,955,000. So that is how I'm going to get my present value of annuity, which is ordinary. So if I get the present value of annuity due. PMT stands for constant. Someone was asking PMT. PMT is the constant amount, constant payment, or constant amount. So if it is an annuity due, as we said, the cash flows occur at the beginning of the period. In annuity due, the cash flows occur at the beginning of the period. So this means that the ordinary annuity is discounted for one extra period. You are going to get the ordinary annuity and you discount the ordinary annuity for one more period to get the annuity due. So the present value of an annuity due is going to be our constant into 1 minus 1 plus R power n. Then what I get, as we said, what I get I divide by R. Then I'm going to discount this by 1 over 1 plus R. We are getting an ordinary annuity, so it's getting an ordinary annuity, and you discount it for one period to get an annuity due. Then you can talk about the future value. The future value of ordinary annuity. The future value of ordinary annuity. So it is when constant cash flows are invested at the beginning of each. So at the end, not at the beginning, at the end of each period. You are investing a constant amount at the end of each period. Then you have a future value of ordinary annuity. So how do we get it? The future value of ordinary annuity, we are getting the constant into 1 plus R what's wrong? 1 plus R power n, then minus 1. Then what I get, I divide by R. Then I can get the future value of ordinary annuity. So here, if we have a simple example to illustrate this, a simple example to illustrate this, if I have assumed that you invest 1 million into a bank account, that offers an interest rate of 15% at the end of each period. How much money will you have at the end of year 5? So if you look at this question, automatically it shows you it is a future value annuity because you are investing. I want you to be able to separate the future value and the present value. Present value you're expecting to pay or to receive. In a future value, you are investing. So you want to see how much the money will grow after a given period of time. Now, like what we have said, we need to get the future value. We have the constant, which is 1 million. We have our R, 15%, and we have N, which is 5 years. So we can substitute in our formula. So our future value will be equal to the constant we are having into 1 plus 0.15 power 5 minus 1 divided by 0.15. So you can use your calculator. 1.15 power 5 minus 1. It's not 1.15 power 5 minus 1 divided by 0.15 times. So me, from my calculator, I'm getting my future value will be equal to 6742381. That is the amount I'm getting from this if I put on my calculator. Someone is saying, I check on annuity due, as we said, the cash flows are expected at the end. I mean, the cash flows are expected at the beginning. Because you expect the cash flow at the beginning, you always have one extra period. So you are getting annuity. Remember, you are getting an ordinary annuity and then discount it for one period. That's what we have done here. Now, if someone was that's the thing. Annuity due, as we said, the cash flows are at the beginning of the period. So it means you are beginning from year 0, not from year 1. It's like you are paying in advance. I want also to look at this one, intra-compounding or discounting. Intra-compounding or discounting, it is when the discount rate, or the interest rate is compounded. Which spelling is this? Is compounded or discounted more than once in the tax period.
Sorry, sir.
Yes, please.
Scroll down a bit.
But I'm going to send you the Excel, don't worry. After the class, I'm going to... Oh, I think here. Yeah, here you are right. It is power minus. Yes, minus n. That's it. You are right, Mr. Mr. Innocent. It's power minus n. Then the annuity due, it's like the ordinary annuity, because here you are having ordinary annuity and you compound it for one period. So for annuity due, you have this ordinary annuity and you compound it for one more period, meaning you are going to multiply by 1 plus r. For if you are getting the future value and you are intra-compounding, the future value will be equal to 1.
Sorry, sir.
Yes, please.
Question.
Yes, please.
If possible, you can help me to. I'm trying to use the calculator, but I'm confused. For his the future value is the which will we divide by r? Is the combination of the constant times the
No. You only divide what is in the bracket.
Which one? Because there's 2 brackets.
For future value, you are getting 1 plus r power minus power n. Then what you get there minus 1. Then
so the 1 minus 1 for after powering, or it's the power n minus 1.
After powering.
After powering, we minus 1. Then brackets, what we get, we divide by r,
with
and we times the constant.
That's good.
Okay.
Power n times n. When we say intra-compounding, it means the interest rate or the discount rate is calculated more than once in a given year, or is given more than once in a year. So if you are having intra-compounding or intra-discounting, then you are going to divide r by m and then get a power n times m, where m is the number of compounding. I can give a simple example for this. Example, assume we expect to receive 2 million at the end of each year. For a period of 4 years. The discount rate is 10% and discounted semi-annually. The discount is 10% and discounted semi-annually. So what is the present value? What is the present value? So in this case, you are not discounting at the end. You are going to discounting every after 6 months. How many times are you going to discount? Our aim here is going to be, because you are discounting semi-annual, it means you are discounting every 6 months. So in a year, you will discount twice. So it means M will be 2. N it is 8. I mean, it's going to be 4. R is normal at 10%. And our PMT is 2 million. So from this information, we can get our present value. The present value will be equal to the constant into 1 minus 1 plus R. This R should divide it by M power minus N times M. Then what I get, I divide by R divided by M. That is going to be when you are discounting your cash flows once in a year or more than once in a year. So in this case, if we put in the figures, our present value will be equal to the constant into 1 minus 1 plus 0.1 divided by 2 power minus 2 times N. Our N is 4. 2 times 4. Then what I get, I divide by 0.1 divided by 2. So you can touch your calculator, friends. Touch your calculator. I have 0.1 divided by 2 plus 1 power 8. I have that. I have that. No, it is not so. I have 1.05 power minus 8. I have this minus 1. I have this divided by 0.05. Times my constant is 2 million. I'm getting my present value. I'm getting it. I don't know what you are getting for you. 12 million 926. Please always cross check. 926 425. Remember, this is 2 million. This is what I get. So please, you need to look at the question very well, whether most especially in evaluations, where the interest is paid semi-annually, or the interest is paid annually, or is interest is paid quarterly, or is paid monthly. If it is paid monthly, it means your M will be 12. If it is paid quarterly, then it means your M will be 4. If it is semi-annually, then it means your M is 2. Then you should adjust to get your...
Excuse me?
Yes, please.
What is discounting?
Discounting, as we said, you are moving from the future to the present. We call it discounting.
Okay. What about compounding?
Compounding, you are moving from the present to the future. That's what we call compounding.
Okay.
Any question, friends, as far as this part is concerned? The last part is the application of annuities. Application of annuities. Where do we apply annuities? The first application is what we call a sinking fund. That is the first application, a sinking fund. A sinking fund is a fund that is established in order to make a future payment. It is a fund which is established in order to make a future payment. So in a sinking fund, you are interested, maybe, for example, I can say, you want to buy a house, maybe in 5 years. You want to buy a house in 5 years. And you want to know how much money should you invest in every year, such that by 5 years, you have the money that you need to buy a house. That we call it a sinking fund. You can give a simple example. Suppose want to buy your first car.
Question, sir.
Yes, please.
Question.
Yes, please.
We understand, but the problem is, if possible, you can introduce more brackets so that we can understand the formula. Because, like for this present value, this one, we minus what? We minus only one plus 0, 1 divided by 2. This 2, what will we divide by this 2? Is only 1 point.
Look at this formula first. This is the formula we use. First, we look at this. When we are compounding many than type, more than once, I said you will have to get your R divided by the number of times you are going to compound it. Then N is multiplied by the number of compounds you are going to make. And I gave this example. You are going to discount the interest semi-annually, or you are going to pay the money semi-annually. So if you are paying semi-annually, it means you are going to discount twice a year. So your M will be 2. So if this is an annuity, because it is a constant amount, it becomes an annuity. Now, how am I going to substitute? It's the same formula of annuity, but what I'm changing here, that I'm considering now the effect of discounting. The effect of discounting. So I'm going to get my R, I divide by M. Then here, power, N, remember this is minus N, but I multiply by the number, the M. Even if we are dividing by R, then I'm going to get R divided by M, because the discount rate is discounted, or the payment is done twice a year.
We divide the payment,
not the interest.
You see, those like here we divide this R, and then thereafter we divide by M. You see, this R divide what? M divide what?
It is R divided by M.
The final one. Okay. This R divided by M is, we divide R over M overall the numerator.
I'm not getting your question, sir, because look at the formula for annuity alone. If I can write it here, the formula for annuity, it is the constant into 1 minus 1 plus R power minus N. Then what we get, we divide by R. This is the formula.
Oh, so these R divide all of them,
apart from the constant.
If possible, you should make the bracket from the beginning of the constant and thereafter to put all together so that you can see where R, what we divide by R.
When you're writing, sometimes it's not easy to write in these things and writing a formula. But I will try to make them clear. So what I'm now recognizing in this formula is to recognize the number of discounting. Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Is it the Habimana, or the Habimana is different? Because I'm seeing another Another.
Venusti.
Abimana, the brackets are not many, but only that since we are writing, it becomes sometimes complicated to make the formula more clear on this Excel. Let's say we are looking at the further annuity. Suppose you want to buy your first car, sinking fund. Suppose you want to buy your first car. Your first car, 5 years from now. The cost of the car maybe it's 20 million. How much money should you invest into sinking fund? It's a sinking fund that offers the sinking fund the end of each year, that offers an interest rate of 10%. So if you look at this question, what do we have? We have the future value, the money we want to buy a car, which is 20 million. We have this one. That's the money we need to buy a car. We have our R, which is 10%. We have our N, which is 5 years. What don't we have? The constant amount we don't have. So it means we need to get the constant amount. So if you remember our formula, the future value is equal to the constant to the PMT into 1 plus R power N, then what we get minus 1, then divided by R. That is my future value. So I have 20 million, which was given in the question as my future value. We equal to the constant PMT into 1 plus 0.1 power 5 minus 1, then divided by 0.15. So from this, my PMT will be
0.1.
PMT will be equal to what? 0.1, not 0.5.
Yes.
Okay. I'm getting 20 million divided by 3. I don't know if you are getting the same figure. Something wrong. (1.1) power 5 minus (-1) divided by 0.1 and reciprocal times 20. Are we getting the same figure? 3.3275 950. That's going to be the amount to invest at the end of each year. If you want to raise 20 million in 5 years, it means every year you should invest this amount. Okay, someone was telling me the denominator should be, okay, I will try to do it. Okay, I think someone was telling me that I should put the denominator down to avoid the confusion. I get this, I underline. Oh, what have I done? I underline, then I put my R down here. Oh, that is still wonderful. To avoid the confusion, I think.
Wow. That will be wonderful.
Okay. You know, I thought you are mathematicians. So even I thought you are mathematicians. So you know you are not a mathematician, so I can divide even this one. 0.1. I remove this one up here. What have I done? Okay, I think it makes sense. I don't know if you have a question here, or we should continue with another application. Another application we discussed it is what we call capital recovery. If you remember in financing, the capital recovery. So this is it is about the payment of the interest and the principal amount on the loan. Payment of interest and the principal amount on the loan. That is what we call a capital recovery. Still in a capital recovery, looking at how much are you going to pay every year. Remember, the interest and the principal, it gives you the constant amount that you are supposed to pay on the loan. So in this, we are interested.
Payback period.
Yes. In this, we are interested to determine the constant amount that we are going to be paying every year, and then from here you can determine the principal amount and the interest amount to be paid on the loan. Someone is, please, it seems, what do you get if you put in this? Because I'm getting, someone is asking me, how did I get this? I'm going to get PMT equal, seems your calculators are not okay. PMT equal to 20 million. We told me to put the figure down. 20 million divided by, what do you get in the bracket? 1.1 power 5. What do you get? Minus 1 divided by 0.1. Now I'm getting 6.105. Because someone was asking me, how am I getting this? So then if you get this divided by this, because this is what you get from this bracket, you get this 6.105. If you get 20 divided by this, then I get this amount. So the investor, let's look at a simple example here. The investor has just acquired a loan of 10 million. A loan of 10 million, which must be paid in a period of 4 years. Making equal installment the end of each year. The interest rate on the loan is 10%. Prepare the loan amortization. Loan amortization schedule. So in this case, as you have already looked at in our previous discussion, you need to determine the constant amount. So automatically this one gives you a present value annuity. So you need to determine a constant amount. So our constant amount, this is an annuity. We have the present value of the loan, which is 10 million. We have our R, which is 10%. We have N, which is 4 years. We need PMT. We don't have it. That's the one we need. So we can substitute in this formula. Not that one. I think I should now put the other one. Our present value will be equal to PMT into 1 minus 1 plus R power minus n. Then you told me I put my r down here. Divided by r. Oh, I think it is now making it clear. Divided by r. I think it is clear now. Then I can substitute in my formula. Our present value, we have it 10 million already. Equal to our constant, we don't know, into 1 minus 1 plus. Problem, you don't want to touch your calculator. 0.1 power minus 4. What I get, I divide by 0.1 as we agreed how to divide. So you can now put it 1.1 power minus 4. I get that minus 1. Have that divided by 0.1. I have that 3.16. Then I just say this reciprocal times 10 million. I've lost everything. What are you getting as your PMT, friends? PMT is equal to? What are you getting from your calculator? 1.1 power?
Still calculating.
Hey, your calculators have what? Huh? I don't know if you are having the same answer. 3 154 708. So I'm having a question. Yes, that is true. That is from JK. It's okay. I think we are having the same answer. JK, is it the same answer? No. Please, this is who wants past paper. Hakim, don't worry, we are going to look at past paper questions, but we need to first get the theoretical part to go for past paper. I have this. Okay. We are having 3164557. Why are we having a difference? Who is correct? Me, you. Anyone with a similar to mine? Another answer I've seen here is 3 164,557. Please, let's cross check to these two answers and tell me which one is correct. Yes, I think that is true. Divided by 3.16. Yeah, the first one is correct. So mine is correct. So I think that's what I'm seeing.
I have got answer which is similar to yours.
Okay. So this one we remove
because
it.
Because it is 0.037.
Okay, let's use democracy. We remove this one.
Yes.
So we can have our period. I can put here my period. I think another people. Okay. I think we're having mine is correct. Period. Balance brought down, which called the beginning balance. Then I have my constant. We did this similar example, I think. I have my interest. We have the interest. We have the principal. The principal. And then I have the principal, and then I have the balance carried down. What called the closing balance, the balance carried down. So period, we have year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4. And year 4. Our opening balance is 10 million. Our constant is 3,154,708, which is a constant amount. So this is the constant. The interest is calculated. Remember, interest is 10%. I think I should put it 10%. And we calculate the interest on the opening balance. So I'm getting this times 10%. I get the interest. Now to get the principal, I get the constant minus the interest. I get the principal. Then the balance, I'm going to get my opening balance minus the principal payment. And this one becomes, the opening in year 2. So I get the same, it is this times 10%. And here, it's going to be this minus this. Here, it is this, the opening balance minus the principal, which become the opening in year 3. I get this, the opening balance, I multiply by the interest of 10%. Here, I'm getting my constant minus the interest. I get the principal. To get my closing balance, I will get my opening balance minus the principal. And this becomes the opening here. I do the same, I get the 10% times the principal here. Then this minus this. And here I will have this minus this. So that is how we do an amortization of loan using the annuities. I want to hear from you if you have a question.
I have a question, sir.
Yes.
This payment is constant.
Yes, please.
And why we, if we calculate at the year 3, we cannot have the same constant.
Which one?
The PMT.
This one is constant every year.
Even if we calculate at n, which is equal to 3, we will get this.
Yeah, no, if we change n, it becomes different. But every year,
why we should? Yes.
Every year you pay a constant amount on the loan. If it is a loan,
yes,
you are going to pay a constant amount every year.
Mm.
And you calculate it once. What changes? Are you getting it?
Mm.
What changes is the principal payment and the interest.
Yes, I understand.
The interest reduces, but the principal payment increases as you pay the loan.
Yes.
But the constant amount is the same.
In all question, we are obliged to calculate at n.
If you are dealing with amortization, you have to calculate the constant.
Mm-hmm. Why that constant cannot be calculated at the first year?
Like what? No, when you are calculating the constant, when you are calculating the constant, it depends on the maturity period of the loan.
It means we calculate the constant on the maturity.
On maturity, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's my question.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yes, please.
Isn't there any clear formula in calculating this amortization?
No, we don't, because we are not. I'm not going to teach you the Excel part because you are not going to use Excel to do it.
It's not a matter of Excel.
Yeah.
I'm asking, how can you go about it? Do you have any formula to follow, or you just because the other formula you are using is seemingly confusing?
The formula is, or the process is, first calculate your constant, the constant that you are going to be paying every year. Once you calculate the once you finish calculating the constant, then you can amortize. And in amortization, this is an amortization schedule. What's called this one? Amortization. Amortization schedule. A schedule which shows how you are paying your loan, the interest and the principal. And it is not very complicated. You have the beginning balance of the loan, the beginning at the balance at the beginning of the period, the constant you are paying, the interest you are paying on the loan, the principal you are taking back, that's the money you borrowed, and the closing balance. I don't need any other formula that we need to use here. Getting the interest, we are getting the interest times the beginning balance. Get the principal, get the constant minus the interest. Getting the closing balance, we get the beginning balance minus the principal.
I would like to have one more clarification.
Yes, please.
If they ask us, for example, the maturity is at the is 5 years. And they ask to calculate the payments at the 4 years.
No, it cannot be.
It cannot be. I think it's possible when we start to calculate the PMT at the 5th year, and then doing this amortization schedule up to the 4th year, in order to get the payments of the 4th year.
But if it is a question, it will tell you to do the amortization for the period of the loan. Why does it tell you a period of maturity of 5 years and then you only amortize for 2 years?
The maturity of 5 years, and then amortize up to 2 years.
Then it's okay. If it is, it has simplified life. You are not going to go for 5 years.
In that way, we will use n equal to 5 and then amortize to up to 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other question? Let's look at this capital budgeting.
Application, sorry sir, application are only 2.
Others, we shall be looking at them as we are discussing other parts.
Okay.
Capital budgeting. When you come to capital budgeting, it is about estimate and current assets or other projects that have an impact on the company's cash flows. So when it comes to capital budgeting, mainly we are looking at those investments in non-current assets, evaluating investment in non-current assets, or evaluating projects or investments which have got a big impact. A big impact on the company's cash flow. So the issue here in capital budgeting, mainly it is about purchasing assets, replacing assets, disposing assets, but we also have other investments which may have a very big impact on the company's cash flow. And these impacts, maybe you want to enter a new market, you are evaluating an advertising campaign. All of those ones are considered under capital budgeting.
Sorry, lecturer.
Yes, please.
Can you tell clearly those other projects, other projects which are current asset.
Like advertising campaign. Like the Primus Guma Guma advertising campaign, like something like that. Advertising campaign, entering a new market, merger or acquisition, replacement of asset, replacement of assets, purchase of assets, disposal of a subsidiary, and others. These are some of the investment that you are going to analyze or you are going to look at in the capital budgeting. You want to purchase a new machine, you want to dispose a subsidiary, you want to replace an asset, you want to either acquire through merger or through acquisition, you want to enter a new market, you want to start an advertising campaign, you want to open a new distribution channel. Those are capital investment decisions or capital budgeting decisions. Capital budgeting process. First process is the origination proposal. The first process, origination of the proposal. So in this, you identify the different opportunities that are available where you needed to invest the money. Where should an organization invest? That's the origination of the proposal. And the origination of the proposal should come from the user department. What do you need? Where do you need to invest? Which project do you have that you want to invest? That's the origination of the proposal. Then step number 2 is screening. In screening, we try to identify a few projects that matches with the organization goals or that matches with organization objectives. You may develop different proposals, then you are trying to narrow down the different proposals that you have developed. That is the screening, narrowing down the different investments that you have done. Then we have analysis and acceptance. Analysis and acceptance. Analysis and analysis and acceptance. In the analysis and acceptance, you are now looking at the financial viability. The financial viability of the project. Is the project financially viable or the project is not financially viable? Is the project going to add value or not? That is analysis and acceptance. That is going to be our main concern as far as this chapter is concerned. Analysis and acceptance. And the most questions, they come on this part, analysis and acceptance. That's looking at the financial viability. Should we invest in the project or we shouldn't invest in the project? Then monitoring and control. Monitoring and control. Monitoring and control. You are looking at whether the project is achieving the organization objective. Are you achieving organizational goals or not? If not, what has happened? Then you try to go back to check anything that has happened or that anything that has led for the organization not to achieve what it planned. That is monitoring and control. So those are the processes that you go through when you are evaluating or when you're making a capital budgeting decision. Origination of the proposal, screening the different proposals to narrow them down, analysis and acceptance. We said you are looking at the financial viability of the project, then you are trying to follow up what is happening in the organization or in the project. That is whether you are achieving the organizational objectives or you are not achieving the organizational objectives. That is the capital budgeting process. Now we are moving to the most critical areas now. Investment appraisal. Before we look at the investment appraisal, I want us to look at the relevant, I think it's going to be our last part, relevant cash flows. Relevant cash flows. Relevant costs, relevant benefits. When it comes to relevant cash flows, we mean relevant cost, relevant benefit. Someone is asking that he needs more information on capital budgeting process. I said the first process is to develop a proposal. Where do you want to save the money? What is needed? You just develop different proposals for different projects where you want to invest. That's the first step. Then the second step, we said the screening. Screening, you are trying to narrow down the different proposals that were developed. You may find that you developed around 10 proposals. Then you're trying to look at the key proposals and you try to narrow them down. That is the screening. Analysis and acceptance, we said, it is about looking at the financial viability. The financial viability of the project. Is the project financially viable or not? Should we invest in the project or not? Looking at it, whether the project is going to add value or is not adding value. Monitoring and control is trying to ensure that the project is achieving the stated objective. Are you achieving the objectives or not? If you are not achieving, then you need to go back to cross-check what has gone or what went wrong, and then try to correct the inefficiency in your process. So that is what you can say on that. Another member was asking about the application. The application I've looked up at them. We have a sinking fund, we have a capital recovery, we have a deferred annuity, valuation of securities. Some of them we are going to look at them in our other discussions as we are moving with the discussion. I want to look at this part, and it's going to be the end of this today's discussion. Relevant cash flows. Relevant cash flows. This is very critical as far as investment is concerned. You need to identify the cash flows that are relevant to your decision. What are relevant cash flows? By definition, we say that relevant cash flows are those cash flows which changes with the changes in the decision. When it comes to relevant cash flows, are those cash flows that changes with the changes in the decision. If the decision changes, then they are going to automatically affect your cash flows. Please, the most complicated part in investment is for you to identify the relevant cash flows. That is the most complicated part. And the moment you don't identify the relevant cash flow to any question, you are gone. The moment you don't identify the cash flow that are relevant to the project, you are gone. And I said, by definition, the relevant cash flows are those cash flows which are going to change with the changes in the decision. Meaning the cash flows are affected by the decision you are going to make. If the cash flows are not affected by the decision you are making, then we say those cash flows are irrelevant. And if they are irrelevant, we don't include them in our analysis. The most challenging part in this area is to identify the cash flows. Applying a technique is very simple, but for you to identify which cash flows are relevant, which cash flows are not relevant to my decision is the most critical part. So if we can move on, this is Mbabazi who wrote here, not me. The characteristics.
Excuse me.
Yes.
What is the dependent and independent value in terms of this relevant cash flow? Is
no,
it
no, no. We don't go and search here. We don't go to dependent and independent.
So you said it depends on the decision, which means it is not. It keeps on changing depending upon the decision.
That's what we are going to look at now. The characteristics.
Okay.
Of relevant cash flows. First, they are future cash flows. Relevant cash flows are future cash flows. They are going to come as a result of the project. In this case, it means we are going to ignore the past cash flows. The cash flow that you have already incurred, those ones are ignored. You look at the cash flows which comes or which are incurred as a result of the project you have implemented. That is one. They are future cash flows. They are coming or they are incurred as a result of your investment decision. Another important is incremental cash flows. Incremental cash flows, meaning they are increasing or they are decreasing as a result of the project. In this case, we use the term, what are the cash flows with the project and what are the cash flows without a project? Then we look at the difference. Cash flows with and the cash flows without. Then we look at the difference. That's going to be the incremental cash flows.
Pardon?
I'm saying, when you look at the incremental, to be able to get the incremental, we shall get the cash flows with the project and the cash flows without a project. For example, if I'm introducing advertising, let's say I'm introducing advertising. Before advertising, my sales were 1 million. After introducing my advertising, my sales are 1.5. It means my relevant cash flow here will be 1.5 minus 1, the incremental part of it. That is going to be the relevant cash flow on this project. 1.5, the increase. I'm not going to take 1.5 because without advertising, I'm already selling 1 million. It means my advertising is only contributing 500,000. So 500 is my relevant cash flow. That's the incremental. Number next there are cash flows. I don't know if it is a repetition. They are cash flows. What does it mean? It means we are looking at cash in and cash out. We are considering the cash received and the cash paid out. Anything that does not involve cash in and cash out, we ignore in our evaluation. We don't look at that. Apart from that, we can look at other relevant cash flows here. Other relevant cash flows. One is opportunity cost. Opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost? The best alternative foregone. The opportunity cost should be recognized as a cost to the new project. For example, if you had project A and you want to start project B, by starting project B, you are going to lose a sales revenue of 5 million in project A was bringing. It means the money you are foregoing here in order to start project B is considered as an opportunity cost in project B, and it is recognized as an outflow.
Sorry, lecturer, can you please repeat what is opportunity cost?
I'm saying the definition of opportunity cost is the best alternative foregone. And I'm giving an example here. I'm having project A and project B. Now, project A was bringing me 5 million. Now I want to stop producing product A, then I go to product B. If I stop this, I'm going to lose this 5 million I was getting from product A. So it means this product, this 5 million I was getting here will be an opportunity cost in B. So when I'm evaluating, I recognize this 5 million I'm foregoing as an opportunity cost in product B. Another important thing is working capital. Working capital. Some investments, they require you to invest in working capital, or some projects require you to invest in working capital. Working capital, that investing in inventory, investing in receivables, investing in cash. So some projects automatically, they require an investment in working capital. The rule on working capital is, please note that at the period of investment, we recognize an outflow. But at the end of the project, the money invested in working capital is recovered. If in period 1, I invest 100,000 into the project as working capital, I know that at the end of my project, here I'm going to recognize an outflow. But at the end of my project, this money will be recovered. So I recognize an inflow.
Not clear.
Yes?
Beg your pardon on that working capital and opportunity cost.
We said on opportunity cost is the best alternative you forego. If you have an opportunity cost, you must recognize it as a cost in the new investment project or in the new investment you are making. You recognize the opportunity cost as part of the cost for the new project.
Okay.
And when it comes to working capital, I said working capital, as we shall see in our discussion, it is about investing in receivables, investing in inventory, investing in cash, investing in payables. At the time you are investing in working capital, you recognize a cash outflow. But at the end of your project, the money invested in working capital is recovered and therefore recognize a cash inflow.
Sorry, lecturer.
Yes.
How to pause?
Yes.
Example. How to invest in example.
I said you may find that for you to begin a project, you need to invest in inventory. To begin a project, you invest in the inventory of 1 million at the start of your project. So if the project has ended, maybe in year 5, a project has ended, we expect that the money you invested in this inventory is going to be recovered here in year 5. when you are finishing your project. So at this point of investing, you are going to recognize a cash outflow.
So is it applicable in your life?
It is applicable. If the project requires material, the stock of material, so it means at the end of your project, that stock of material is going to be sold.
Is it mandatory that it will be sold at the end of the project?
That's what we assume. So where are you going to take it?
But it may be sold before even end of project.
But we assume that because you are going to be investing. If you have invested in year one, it means you will maintain this inventory every year. Then at the end, you recover the money invested. Then, what are irrelevant cash flows? Irrelevant cash flows. Number one, past, or what we call sunk cost. A past cost, or a cost that has already been incurred in the past, is irrelevant. For example, if I want to start a new product, or I want to produce a new product, but I have already a building there, I'm not going to look at the cost of the building because the building is already there. I will just need, what do I need to start the production? But the building is already there. Then the building is going to be a sunk cost. A cost that has already been incurred in the past is irrelevant to the decision you are making to produce. Number two, depreciation. Depreciation is also irrelevant because it is a non-cash flow. So when we are evaluating, we don't consider depreciation. It is a non-cash flow cost. Number three is allocation. Allocation of fixed cost. A fixed cost is irrelevant unless it's a fixed production cost. But if you cannot say, I have product A, I've been producing product A in a rented house. I want now produce product B still in the same room, and then you say you are going to divide the cost of rent to product B. Because even if you don't produce product B, you still have to incur the cost of rent. Therefore, a fixed cost cannot be allocated to a new product. Someone says, what is a sunk cost? A sunk cost is a cost that has been incurred in the past. If you have incurred the cost in the past, then we call it a sunk cost. Then committed or commitment cost. Committed cost. Committed cost is a cost that you incur irrespective of the decision. a cost incurred irrespective of whether you take on a decision or not, you are supposed to incur that cost. Then we call it a committed cost. A committed cost is also irrelevant to the decision.
I'm again on committed cost.
Committed cost, we say, it is a cost that is incurred irrespective of the decision. Whether you are making a decision to invest or not, you incur the cost.
Excuse me, Rector.
Yes.
I would like to understand well how the rent, for example, is irrelevant. Allocation of fixed costs.
We are saying you have been renting a room. Is it okay? May paying 100,000 or 1 million. In this rent or in this room, you have been producing product A in a rented building. Now you want to start producing two products A and B. Should we allocate a cost of rent to product B? The answer is no, because even if we don't produce the product B, you are still going to pay the same rent of which is fixed because it is constant. That's what I say we cannot allocate a fixed cost.
Okay, that's fine.
So I saw someone, Director had written, Director, is your answer?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, it's okay.
No.
So what is your question?
What could be the other name of committed costs? Because this looks to be confusing. Is there any other name that could mean the same?
We need to look at maybe the dictionary in this case.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I just want to know the difference between the operating costs and the committed costs.
I said operating costs, those are costs you are incurring in your day-to-day operations, like salaries, the cost you incur. A committed cost is a cost that you are going to incur irrespective of the decision. So some of these operating costs are committed costs because you are incurring them irrespective of the decision. So they can be a committed cost. But not all operating costs are committed costs. Maybe the salary of the manager or the salary of the directors may be committed, but we are looking at a cost that you are going to incur irrespective of the decision you are going to make. But not some of the salaries are going to depend on the decisions. So that is what we call a committed cost. Another important thing is interest. Although we shall look at it in different ways. Some investments, you may finance them using borrowed money. The interest you pay on the loan is irrelevant in the decision. The reason is the discounting factor we use to evaluate a project, it includes the cost of the loan. So if there is, I think it was 2019, we shall look at that. 2019, the students were given interest. 2019 in June, I think. Students were given interest and they couldn't identify that. The interest is irrelevant. What we only consider is the discounting factor, which is the cost of capital. Because the cost of capital, it has a cost of debt and a cost of equity. So the cost of debt is the interest you are going to pay on that debt. So the interest payment is ignored in the decision of investment.
Sorry, lecturer.
Yes, please.
I don't understand why interest on the loan is not putting into consideration, and it's paid because you have a project, and why you say that it cannot be taken into consideration as a relevant cash flow.
The R we are using to discount our cash flows is the cost of capital. If you remember, because we have already discussed cost of capital, if you remember in the cost of capital, it is combination of cost of equity and the cost of debt. What is the cost of debt? The cost of debt is made up of the interest you are paying on the loan. So if you include the cost of debt and then include the interest, it means you are going to have a double accounting. You are going to recognize the interest twice because it is already considered in the cost that you are using to discount. So those are the relevant and the irrelevant cash flows. I'm seeing a question in the chat room. It's not a question. Someone was telling me for attendance. Okay. So these are the issues. I think we are meeting again on Saturday from 1. Is it from 1? Saturday from 1 to
yes.
Saturday from 1 to 5. So let's meet on Saturday. Probably we can. I want us by this weekend to finish the theoretical part. When we meet again on Thursday, we do past paper questions. That is what I want. I want by this weekend to finish the investment. Then when we meet again on Thursday, we do past paper questions. So please, I've been told to make attendance, but I think time has gone. We shall make the attendance on Saturday. Hope it is okay with you. I will make the attendance. I'm going to send you this Excel on your WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
And then the video, I will send it tomorrow on your email. Okay, have a good night.
Excuse me.
Yes, please.
What time did you say of next class?
The next class is on Saturday from 1.
Not 11.
Is it 11? No. The timetable has changed.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome. So I'm going to send you the Excel on your WhatsApp group. Then tomorrow I will send you the video.
Saturday
Okay, sir.
at 1.
Thank you so much.
Saturday at 1. twazisuze mudda.
No.
Not